So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It is first thing in the morning, and it's a chilly morning, about 41 degrees. I left the house pretty early, came up here to the Ford dealership to do a little window shopping for a dump truck. I have been looking on and off for about a year and a half at least. Last year, I was pretty close to pulling the trigger on one, but prices were still through the roof, and I decided just to hold off for a bit. But I'm starting to see some discounts on trucks. Actually, pretty deep discounts. Now, all along, I was looking for like an F550, but the more I think about it, the more I am leaning towards an F750 for several reasons. Number one, obviously, more capacity. Number two, you can get an F750 for pretty much the same price as a 550, in some cases less. Now, between the diesel and the gasser, I'm going to go with the big gasser. It's cheaper right out of the gate. You're not going to get great mileage out of it, but it's going to be used almost exclusively for local use. And I think the 7.3 has plenty of power just for lugging loads of stone or dirt or firewood around. I think it would be fine. And I think maintenance costs down the road are going to be a lot less than the diesel. But basically, it comes down to the initial cost. But I'm seeing F750s with a nice steel dump body on them for like $85,000. That's for a 2024. And I like the dump body. There's a Zaresco dump body. I like the barn door that opens up to the side and you can latch it. That's great for dumping things like firewood or logs, things like that. You're not trying to get everything out from underneath the gate. But I don't know. I think I'm going to keep my eye on things. I am. But it's amazing. Like I said, an F750 is basically the same price as an F550 four-wheel drive. And that big gasser, when was it? Last year, Melisse and I were on a trip somewhere, and a new F750 dump truck passed me on the interstate, and we were going up a hill. This guy was carrying the mail, you know? Well, we go a few more miles, and we pull into a rest area, and that truck was sitting in there, and I got to talking to the guy. It was a brand new truck. He was moving it from one dealership to the other, and it had the gasser in it, the 7.3. Now, he was empty, but he had to been doing 75 mile an hour down the interstate up a hill in that thing. I couldn't believe it. But I think it would be a good fit for what we do. I don't know. It's a lot of money. It is. But it would last me a very long time. This one here is a 2025, but this is what I'm talking about on this gate. The whole gate will swing open and latch to the side of the truck right there, giving you full access to the bed to load or to dump. Plus, it's got room for some sideboards. I need to figure out exactly how much firewood this would hold loose. Just never ends though, you know? Now this one's the diesel. It's got the 6.7 in it. This one over here's got the 7.3 gasser. Same dump bed though. Plus my trailers are all registered at 10,000. Well, 99.50 or whatever. So I could pull a trailer behind these as well. I probably wouldn't need to do that very often, but it would be nice to do that if needed. There's a white one here. I can never buy another white truck though. White trucks remind me of my days of working in oil and gas. Every company truck I had was white. Not that there was anything wrong with the job. I liked the job. I just don't like a white work truck. I don't know why. What I was talking about when I said it never ends is this. I bought a firewood processor, and now I can crank out incredible amounts of firewood in no time at all. So the next thing is you've got to find better, faster, easier ways to deliver that wood, which leads to a dump truck. So that's kind of next on the agenda. But before I do that, there's two things that need to happen. Number one, I need to find another place to process firewood. My wood yard is just too crammed right now. I just don't have enough room down there to operate and to stockpile firewood. So I need to find another place on the property just to process firewood. I could do it out there at the clearing, but I just like that area. I mean, it would be perfect out there. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's just beautiful out there, and I don't want to turn that into a wood yard. I got some other ideas. So find a place to process firewood where I can get log trucks in and out. And then I also need either a disc screener to clean the firewood or one of those drum screeners, one of the two. Once those two things are in place, new location for the wood yard, just firewood, and a screener, I'm going to get a dump truck. And I think it's going to be an F750. I'm almost positive that's what it'll be. Like I said, it's about the same money as a 550. Hauls way more, bigger bed on it. And I'm not worried about the not being four-wheel drive either. I will just deliver when the weather's decent. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why I keep doing all this, to tell you the truth. I just keep finding more work for me to do. I do kind of know why. I've talked about this before. I don't know how long the YouTube thing lasts or how long I'm going to continue to do it, but I'm getting set up for me and my kids to basically have a whole bunch of different sources of income that you can go different directions with. And most importantly, I enjoy this kind of stuff. So I think that's the plan. All right, it is payday for Bo. He gets 75 cents a week and an extra 25 cents if you don't break anything. And put it in the piggy bank. We did dimes and nickels one. Oh, you're getting better at that. Go ahead.
He knows there's more.
Don't get distracted.
3.
So that's your base pay, and this is your bonus for the week.
4. Good job.
There you go. That's it. See you next Friday. Well, this is a major turn of events. I got back to the house, settled up with Bo for this week's pay, and I was just headed down to the wood yard, and Melissa came up to me and she said, "You know what I found?" And whenever your wife says that, you're like, it could be anything. But she found a new Ford Expedition with the Tremor package. And I had seen this before. I saw it last week when I was down at the cabin. And it's at a dealer in Oakland, Maryland, which is real close to the cabin. And she kind of likes it. And we've got this Yukon Denali. It's a 2024. I went over the other day. They're having some engine problems with these. I don't know what that's going to do for trade-in value, but I'm going to find out because I am headed to Oakland, and if we can strike a deal, I'll be driving a new Ford Expedition home, leaving this Yukon Denali in Maryland. And it may work out for somebody. It may, because there's talk. They keep changing this recall thing around on this vehicle. They're not sure what they're doing, but there's talk they may do a 10-year, 150,000 mile warranty on the engine. If they were to do something like that, that's a pretty good deal for someone. I just don't like the idea, say Melissa and the grandkids are driving down the interstate, headed to the cabin some weekend, and this thing blows up along the interstate. I don't want that to happen with her driving it. With me, not the end of the world. But with her and the grandkids, it's always in the back of your head. You know what I mean? I keep reading and people are messaging me about theirs blowing up. And the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, you know what? If I can get rid of it, get a new Expedition, done. All right, I am stuck in traffic and have been so for about 20 minutes, but we're going to take this opportunity to learn about the viewers of this channel. I have a question for you. Now, there's a lane closure up ahead. At this point, I think it's still another half mile. And I know you're supposed to use both lanes of traffic to the merge point. However, everybody was kind of working their way to the right lane, and we had a long single file lane of traffic. We weren't moving fast, but we were moving. Well, some people got impatient and they start pulling out of the right lane to pass a bunch of cars. And then a whole bunch more people did that. And then they got up to the merge point and traffic came to a standstill once again. So my question is, what type of person are you? Do you stay in this lane? Or are you one of the ones that jump out to pass 10 or 15 cars? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just asking the question from here in the right lane. Once I get below Pittsburgh, it's usually pretty smooth sailing, but I'm not even to Pittsburgh yet. All right, we're starting to move. This guy just pulled over for some reason. He made it this far. Maybe he's having trouble. Left lane closed ahead. We're moving. All right, we got 2 lanes closed over here. At least we're moving though. This section of Interstate 79, they've pretty much been working on this since as long as I can remember. I mean, in different areas, you know what I mean? And I'm not really sure what they're doing, but they're always working on this section of road. Always. Once we get up here a little bit, maybe we'll figure it out. All right, all lanes are open. I saw nothing, literally nothing. All right, I am passing through Deep Creek, Maryland. I'm about 5-10 minutes out from the dealership in Oakland. We'll see how this goes. Now, the sticker price on this Yukon Denali was $88,000. We didn't pay near that much for it, but we traded 2 vehicles for it, a Ford Bronco and a GMC 3500. And it was the first time ever I felt like I kind of won at a car dealership, because we left with a brand new vehicle and I got a big check. So, sticker was $88,000. I'm guessing, you know, between the trades, probably around $81,000. I don't really know. You know, you could look at it either way. Now, if you look this vehicle up on Kelley Blue Book, the trade-in value is showing between $68,000 and $71,500. And I wish I would have screenshot it last week, but I think it was much higher than that, like by a couple grand. Because when you pull up Kelley Blue Book, the recall, it comes right up, and I'm sure that is affecting the used price on this. My concern is the longer this whole recall thing goes on and they try to come up with a fix, the market will get flooded with these. So I think today is really my only chance. We'll see what happens. I have a number in my head. If we get to that number, I'll be driving a new Ford home. All right, we are pulling into the Ford dealer. Hopefully it's still here. You'd think they'd call if someone would have came in and bought it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, it's nice. Well, this is awkward. They're showing it to somebody. All right, taking this Expedition Tremor for a little test drive. Steering wheel's kind of egg-shaped, which I get why they do that. They've got this giant screen across the front here, plus this other screen right over here. Interior's very nice. Seats are real comfortable. So far, drives nice. The dash is definitely different. I'm not saying I like it or don't like it. It's actually kind of nice. It rolls down in. I mean, if you want, you can set stuff on the dash. It's not going to fall off. There's a look at the back. It does do the auto shut off when you stop. I don't like that. I think there's an override for that. Actually sounds good for a 6-cylinder. This has the 3.5 twin turbo, 440 horsepower. I think it's like 500 foot-pound of torque. A little bit more power than the Denali. I think it's got it by about 20 horsepower. It rides really nice. It's got 33-inch tires on it. I think around 10 inches of ground clearance. It sits a little bit higher than you know, most SUVs in this class, I guess you could say. We'll just pull into Lowe's here, get out, kind of walk around it real quick. Seats are really comfortable. I have to say they are more comfortable than the Denali, but I may not have them adjusted properly. Oh, that's pretty cool. It turned off. Let me show you that. You put your turn signal on, it shows you what's on that side of the vehicle. I like that. Do the right side, shows you the right side of the vehicle. That's pretty slick right there. Now, I've never been a big fan of these, but that is nice because you have all this additional storage right here. This whole thing will slide back somehow. Oh, look at that. There's a button. Power back, power forward. Somehow this opens up. I do not know how. Huh. Oh, over the side. Lots of storage in it. It's really nice. And you know what's crazy? Even full sticker price on this is considerably less than that Yukon Denali. And this is a 2025. Different drive modes right here. 2 high, 4 automatic, 4 high, 4 low. This is for your back gate. Be honest, this is way more my style. I know this is Melisse's vehicle than the Denali. But look at these nice running boards right here. Nice running boards. Oh yeah. I think I mentioned 33-inch tires. Love the color. I think they call it like wild green. This is different. Black. Well, Melissa got a new Expedition Tremor and she hasn't even seen it yet. It's very nice. I am thrilled with the deal. Really nice dealership there in Oakland, Maryland, Timberbrook. And I got a couple hours. I'll be home and we'll take a closer look at this. I'm not sure if I like this. I don't know if we'll ever use this or not really, but hands-free driving. It's doing a really good job. It's just kind of stressful letting it drive itself. All right, just about to pull in the driveway. Hopefully Melissa likes it. I'm sure she will. What do you think of your new ride, Melissa?
Wow, I love it. I'm shocked.
Hop
I love
in.
the color. Wow.
Hop in.
Okay.
There's a lot to learn.
I guess so. Wow. Oh, it's comfortable.
It is.
It's a comfy seat. Did you like it?
Yeah, I really do.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to adjust this up. I prefer to be a NASCAR driver. Like I want to be up on the pedals.
I'm trying to figure out how to tilt the wheel down.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay. Wow. How do you, where's the press button? Oh, right here. Wow. It's quieter than the Denali, I think. Wow.
I say what we do is you can check it out tomorrow. We'll kind of go over some of the features in it once we learn some more. But
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I'm shocked.
There's a big panoramic moonroof too.
Okay.
One of those buttons up there.
Let's figure that out. Wow.
So we'll report back tomorrow.
Oh, so this is where you put it in gear.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Look at these nice little accents lights.
Oh. That's nice.
So Melissa is trying to learn everything in this vehicle, aren't
Yeah.
you?
There's a manual, and then there's an abbreviated version, like the Cliff Notes. So I've learned, I can read this in the house, study it. I get here and then I'm like, oh wait, I forgot, what was that? Like
If you like buttons and switches, this would take some getting used to, because really the only buttons are right down here.
Right.
For like,
there's a hazard.
yeah, your camera, different things, anti-skid, you can turn that off. But all your controls for everything else, I mean, this thing has like exterior lighting options and
Interior lighting options.
yeah, you can change
Colors.
the colors of the accents of the lights, the
Yeah.
steering wheel tilt and telescopes. That's all controlled by the screen, basically. Buttons on the steering wheel, but the screen. So at some point, once we're both familiar with this and we know what we're talking about, we'll do a full video on this. But it's really nice. I'm really happy with. I like trucks, and even when you got your Yukon Denali, I'm like, yeah, that's nice, and I knew you liked it, but like they just don't do anything for me. I really like this.
Yeah.
This is something that I could see taking on a trip out west, where normally we take my truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is something.
It's comfortable. Automatic seats, so when you get in, you have space to get in, and then when you start it, boom, it goes to the way I had it programmed. So that's nice.
Start it up
screen.
once and show them how that console works. This is pretty handy. I think you gotta have the key on. So I think there's a button right up here. So you got storage underneath there.
Yeah.
And so if the vehicle's locked and that's closed and somebody even smashes a window, the alarm's gonna go off. But I doubt they're gonna get to what's underneath that,
Right.
you know?
And then this, the button's right here.
Tons of storage in there.
Do you know what this is?
That slides forward.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, that closes. Definitely a lot of options. So we used to have an Expedition years ago. Do you remember that
I
thing?
do.
I got to tell them this story. So we had, I think it was a 98 Ford Expedition, and we had a lot of miles on it. And those ones, I think they had problems with the head gasket. Yeah, the head gasket was leaking, so it's like ticking. Someone rear-ended Melissa. They didn't have insurance. This thing was trashed. You know, I think it had about 200,000 miles on it. I put it on Craigslist for, I can't remember, $2,000 or something, $2,500. And I get an email from a guy, said he wants to buy it, and asked if I could pick him up at the airport. And I'm thinking to myself, why is somebody flying in to buy this old Expedition? No idea. So I agreed against my better judgment. The day I went to the airport, I picked him up. He was on time, and he was from Mexico, but I think he lived in Texas or something. His whole story was kind of sketch, but we went to the notary on, there's deer running out there. We went to the notary, and he didn't even want a plate for it. You know, I had the title and everything. I sold it to him, cash money, and I'm like, what are you doing with this thing? And he's like, I'm taking it to Mexico. And I'm thinking, on what, like a rollback or something? He's like, no, I'm going to drive it to Mexico. And I had listed everything that was wrong with this vehicle, and he had driven it, and he was going to drive it to Mexico. And I said, what, like from Pennsylvania to Mexico? He said, yeah. He goes, he had family down there that works on cars. He said he would fix it up a little bit, but they were kind of sought after. My battery died there. He said those big SUVs were kind of sought after in Mexico, and they'd fix it up a little bit and resell it. We pulled out of the parking lot, never heard from the guy again. So I guess it worked out for him.
I gave him instructions on like, hey, I love that car, and like this, it's been like a member of our family, you know, take good care of it, you know, this whole schmeal. Mike's like, yeah, he's got to go, he's hitting the road. And I'm like, so are you loading it up? And he's like, nope, heading out now. And off he went. I'm like, what?
I couldn't believe it.
It was bizarre because I wouldn't guess it made it to Ohio, but
I know. But this vehicle here is it's really nice.
It's the Tremor package, which is the
off-road
right
type.
They have the orange.
I mentioned yesterday, I love the running boards. I'm glad they don't fold up and down. They're heavy duty.
Yeah.
Steel skid plates underneath.
That's what it is. Yeah.
30 and 33-inch tires. A little bit of a lift to it. But it was not always like this for us. I mean, for years we drove some junk, remember?
Oh my goodness. Everything.
But we used to have little Hondas.
Oh yeah.
Buick LeSabres left and right.
Ford Explorers. Then we have the Excursion.
Explorers, I called it the Exploder. Kind of blew it up.
Yeah, it blew up. The Ford Excursion was good. We ran that forever. Parking that thing was,
I got to tell you another story.
Okay.
So we had a Ford Excursion, a 2000 with the 7.3 Power Stroke, and I am still kicking myself for selling that vehicle. It needed some work, but I think it had, what, 225,000 miles or something when we sold it. And I put it on Craigslist, and I was asking like 13 for it. I was going to take 12. Some guy shows up, him and his buddy, and they're all over this thing, looking at everything, taking it for a test drive, and we agreed to $12,000. That's the number I had in my head. And we shook hands, and then he stepped back for a minute, and he walks around, and he said, how about 11? This is after we agreed on 12,000. Shook hands. I said, you already agreed to 12. Yeah, but you know, I'm thinking 11 would be better. And I'm like, I'm thinking 13 would be better. And finally he came back to 12, and I wouldn't sell to him. I said, nope, never mind, I'll sell to somebody else. Someone that went back on, you know?
Yeah.
He shook on it. And so I had to run him out of there, but we eventually sold it for $12,000. And that was a long time ago, but it's worth more than that now. In the same condition, that's a $20,000 truck, that Ford Excursion with the 7.3 Power Stroke.
That's what everyone wanted it for.
Everyone wants that thing now. But yeah, but over the years,
rated, if you search the best truck SUVs, that is number 2.
The best truck SUVs,
like in the history. The Suburban was number 1.
Oh, and big
like
SUVs.
The maybe a 78 Suburban.
Yeah.
And then the Excursion.
But, and lastly, like I said, we'll do a video on this thing once we figure everything out. But I like this. The Denali was very nice, but this is more of our kind of, kind of fits us more.
Yeah.
The Denali, I felt like I was, I don't know, always a Secret Service detail or something.
A lot of you have said this when I got the black. I'm like, I love black. I think it looks so sharp. Mike did not want a black vehicle. I did this on my channel last year. Check it out. He was right. I had that thing clear coat, which was so nice.
Ceramic coated.
Or ceramic, yeah. It gives a clear look. So the ceramic coat, that was nice. It rained. You could see the rain beating up. I'm like, this is great. Well, when you throw some Pennsylvania dust and grime into it.
Mud and just dirt.
Oh my goodness. Which, yeah, that black did show everything. Everything. It was like a mirror. It just showed
It really did. But yeah, I think
I love this color. I love this Tremor package. Yeah, it's just good for what we want.
I told her it's a good thing this is hers and not mine, because of this big dash that's sloped down in,
You'd have mail shoved there for weeks.
I'd have everything up there. Look at all that room. You just pile it up with stuff. You wouldn't even be able to see that screen up there.
This is true. This is true. Shoves sheets, hot dog.
Yeah. Sheets, wrappers, and bags. Hunter has a very bad habit. When he gets a drink and like he takes the straw, the paper off the straw,
Chucks it in the back.
throws it in the back. Anything he doesn't need, he just throws it in the back.
He went through a phase where he's throwing things out the window.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
You know, you'd be like, can't find your wallet. I'm like, well, wonder if he chucked it out the window.
Sure enough. He's had a lot of phases.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. Hope you enjoy your Mother's Day gift, Melissa.
Oh, okay. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there.